let's start the meeting.
Excuse me?
Go ahead and start the meeting.
Oh,
Or would you
okay,
like
now,
me to?
okay, I was seeing where Cheryl has the call to order, although I'd be glad to do it. Meeting call to order, and so Cheryl, would you like to do the roll?
Be my pleasure.
Let's do it.
Okay. Doris. I don't see Doris here at the moment. Ray.
Here.
Ray's present. DJ Carol is excused.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Louise. Eda.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Craig is absent. Robin Gosney is here.
Yay! All right.
Chris Jones. Chris.
Chris, you're muted. You're still muted.
I'm assuming Chris is
He is
here.
on the meeting, but he's muted.
Okay, you can see him, right? or
Yeah.
no, he's there.
Yeah, what's
Okay.
wrong with you guys?
Okay, Judy Jones. Present?
I'm present, yes, and Chris, you're still muted. I don't know why.
John Norman is here.
All right.
Monette Harton. I don't see Monette at this point in time. Dick Phillips, I don't see him here. He did say he was coming, but I don't see him.
Okay.
Valerie Rose is here
Good.
virtually. Dave Stevens, present. Daniel. I don't see Daniel at this point in time. Irene is
I'm here.
here.
1, 2,
And
3,
Cheryl Willis with Skagit
4,
Transit is
5,
here.
6, 7.
Malia is online and is here as well.
Okay, and I was just counting up, and we do have a quorum, so that's a good thing. All right. Okay, well, thank you for taking that, Cheryl. I really appreciate you. Next, opening remarks. Does somebody have opening remarks in here? I'm getting used to this new agenda. Do we have any guests, any opening remarks, Cheryl, before we introduce any guests?
Welcome
Or was that
everyone.
Yeah, okay. Okay, do we have any, I do notice that we do have, I think this is going to be for public comment. We have one gentleman here that we all know. And do we have any other guests that are in the meeting room?
Yes, we have a guest.
All right, please introduce.
Hi, my name is Spencer Jones, Juliana Cordes. I am a rider of Skagit Transit. I'm also a grad student in social work, learning more about how to connect folks who need to use public transit to, improve services and things like that. Just here to listen and learn and be of any use that I can.
Welcome, Spencer.
Welcome. Okay, I'm glad you said that name because your first name didn't come out, but I got you now. Thank you, Spencer. I'm glad you made it. Also, if Cheryl brought some sign-in sheets, make sure to put some information on there. Just a name and an email so we can kind of capture that. It's wonderful having you with us. Okay, any other guests?
Joe Kunzler is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is this, should we overlap into public comment here?
I think so.
Well, let's do it. Okay, public comment. You got the floor, Joe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Joe Kunzler here. Just beating back a cold, so I decided I'd better stay home, keep everyone healthy and well, and finish my recovery before some travel this weekend. But I'm calling it out of concern on several things. The strategic plan, I am deeply concerned about several items in it that, like the schedules. The way I go over the schedules is that they will take away from Cedar Willie connectivity to the IDX. They will also take away connectivity to other routes. It will also not discourage, it will also not encourage transit use. And I think these schedules need to be redone. And I think that Cedar Willie needs to see at the table. The second issue of concern that I have is that the Cedar Willie Senior Center is not due for a bus shelter, but other communities are due and a very large proportion of them. I think having our seniors have a place to be out of the elements is a good idea and would encourage our seniors to take the bus. It also would help advertise the service. Don't worry, I put these all in the long range plan form, but when I go and check the comments on the Microsoft app, it has only like the last bunch of comments I submitted, so I'm concerned about that.
About 5 comments, I think it had.
From me?
Or 5 things, yeah.
Okay. I'm just getting real nervous about some of the things in there. Another item of concern that I have, and I don't want to be negative, it's been a long time since I've been on the committee, but I would consider applying for a vacancy, but with openings on the board about to come up, I'm not too sure if you could be a CAC member and a member of the Skagit Transit board at the same time. It appears to me we have some time to work this out, but I think before anyone applies to a CAC or to the board, we should have an answer. That's my penultimate concern. And then my final concern is just the sheer amount of work I see here on the agenda. I hope the CAC will be given the time to actually complete the work and get all the work done on today's agenda. Even if it takes till 6 o'clock. And with that,
Are you
I will.
done?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Joe, for your comments. And they are not going to go into a black hole. You can be assured of that. All right, so moving on next, we've got minutes. Cheryl actually is going to start back up doing the minutes for us, folks. This was a decision that I had made and went ahead and said, hey, Cheryl, you can take over the minutes. But anyway, she turned them in, did a great job. So is there anybody here who did not get minutes? Who did not? Okay, sounds like everybody did. So
Everybody here looks like
they got them. All right.
And I think we've got someone who just joined, but I can't tell who they are.
It's Valerie, and I'm joining by phone because I still can't. Teams will let me be visible on video, but I can't open my microphone. So I'm just going to be present this way. So sorry to be mysterious.
Thank you, Valerie, for identifying yourself and doing that.
Yeah, thank you,
I'm sorry,
Valerie.
could you repeat? Cheryl, could you repeat what you just said?
I said thank
Cheryl?
you for identifying who you are, because the phone number, it helps me to know who it goes to.
Got it. Okay, sorry, carry on. Thanks, Judy.
Okay, thank you too. And if you start having any more problems, just holler out.
Okay, thank you.
Just let us know. Thank you. Okay, let's
So,
go.
go ahead with Judy, with the movement for the minutes.
We will. I thought I heard some mutterings in the Zoom world, so I was wondering if everybody was connected or if we had some more connections. I'm hearing.
Minette is too. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Minette's here. Good.
Okay, Monette just joined us.
Let's do it. All right, we're getting to the point where we need to talk about meeting minutes for April. Any additions or corrections? If not, hearing none, anyone want to bring a motion forward?
Move it forward.
Okay, that was
Second.
Dave, right? Dave, and was that Daniel seconding?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Very good. So it's been moved and seconded that the April minutes be approved and submitted. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you all for approving these minutes. Cheryl thanks you, don't you, Cheryl? Okay, yeah, moving on. One of our delightful members is needing to withdraw membership from the CAC. She wrote me an email about it and said that she really has enjoyed the committee. She's like that, but she's needing to move on to some other things. And this is Madeline Hanslick is needing to withdraw. So we need to bring a vote forward to recommend that the board withdraw Madeline from CAC membership. That's how it needs to be couched. So who'd like to bring that vote forward?
Hi there, it's Storm, Springboard, so moved.
Excuse me?
Oh, okay. How about that? Can you hear me, Judy?
All right, I can. Yeah, now I can. It was kind of coming in and out, but okay. So Doris moved.
Doris. I moved to allow this esteemed member to withdraw from the CAC.
Okay. All right, and then I heard a second. Did someone second?
Second.
Dave? Okay. All right, so again, it's been moved and seconded that at Madeline's request, that the board, we recommend the board withdraw Madeline from CAC membership at her request. Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed,
Aye.
same sign? All right. So, Malia, I'm wondering if we could also make sure that this gets on to the board agenda, that they next Wednesday will vote to remove Madeline's membership.
Maybe, yes, make sure that that's on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So committee reports. Anybody have anything new on any of the connectors? I was wondering, Valerie, how everything's working with your pass riding the Skagit Transit on the ADX. Has that been
Interesting
fixed?
that you ask. So I'm glad that you asked. I sent an email to Cheryl telling her that my pass works. My pass did not work this, what was it, last Friday on the ADX going south. In the afternoon, the ADXs are WTA coaches. In the morning, they're Skagit coaches. And of course, my pass works on the Skagit coach. It didn't work. It had been working for a while on the Whatcom coaches, and then it stopped. So I do want to... let's see, is it okay? Is this an okay time for me? Yeah, it is. This is actually relevant.
Yeah.
So I was on a WTA coach, the windows open, and that was a good thing because there was the bus was at least half full. There was a young woman who had two small dogs, one on her lap, one in a carrier. One of the dogs went to the bathroom, and suddenly I'm smelling dog poop, and I was able to ask the young woman, could she please open the window behind her? And she said she didn't. Anyway, she did. She was polite. She opened the window, and several passengers then spoke up and said, "Thank you. Yeah, I was smelling it." Had we been on a Skagit Transit bus, we would have just been smelling dog poop for the rest of the trip. Not fun, and another reason to look into getting those locks off and allowing those doors, those windows to be opened when need be, and we sure needed it at that time.
Okay.
Adventures
Duly
in public
noted.
transit.
Okay. All right. Any comments for Valerie?
I thought they supposed to have a service, it says their service animal.
I would guess any kind of animal has the same needs. I don't know what the status of the owner was.
The status of the owner?
So the beginnings of ends and sentences at Skagit Station are kind of breaking up over here. So I
Agreed.
think I can kind of guess what Cheryl might have been trying to say.
So what is the policy on animals on the bus?
They need to be a service animal.
They
Would need to be a service animal, or the animal should be in a contained kennel that will fit underneath this.
So
I
what's
heard
a service animal?
So one of the animals was in a small container. They were both small dogs. Maybe they were service animals. They weren't wearing vests that said service animal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know the ADA is really loose on that, unfortunately, but yeah. Okay. That is a good point that you bring up on the, the coach windows. And, too, Malia, this is something that's been brought up a long time. And I think we had a discussion on that too, just for helping you with some of the history on this. Okay.
To speak to that in my member report. So Valerie, thank you for expressing your concerns. I think I'll be addressing it here in just a few minutes.
I heard my name, I heard thank you, and you're welcome. I didn't really understand much of the rest of what you said.
Yeah, I didn't either.
She's going to, it's further down the agenda, and she's gonna pop in with some more information.
Cheryl, I don't know what you did get, but you got really clear all of a sudden. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, let's have Skagit Station keep that up. That'd be good. What's that? Ray?
Yes.
You said something?
No, I was just explaining because they have the microphones that don't work. You have to talk for the camera to pick it up.
Okay.
These microphones don't work.
Still, okay. Oh, well. All right. Yeah, that is too bad. Okay, next item, week without driving. This is something that is coming up that I kind of introduced in the mail, and I sent everybody out information on it. It actually isn't going to take place until the 29th of September through the 5th of October. It's like from that Monday through Sunday, that last week that sort of overlaps into October. But if we start talking about it now and thinking about it, it is something that it'll give us time as individuals, if we choose to talk to our elected officials. And what it is, week without driving, it's just like last year. It is a week of awareness where we talk to our elected officials, whether we, talk to them individually or maybe go to a city hall or maybe go to a commissioner's meeting, but talk about it. And what it is it's a week dedicated, if people want to participate in it, give up your car keys. Give up your car keys. You can get to work, pick up your kids, go grocery shopping, whatever you do, any other way other than a car. You could ride a bike. You could take a taxi. You could take a bus. You could have a friend take you. As you do that, then figure out what it actually costs you to take that taxi. Or say, for instance, if a friend is taking you back and forth, or a colleague or something, how are you remunerating them? Are you paying gas? Are you doing the dishes at night for them? Are you taking them out to lunch? I mean, just figure out what the cost of not driving that car would be. This is what they would do personally, is figure that out. And so even if they choose to drive or are driving, at least be aware of what the ramifications are for non-drivers. And who are non-drivers? They're not just people with disabilities. It's anybody who chooses or needs to take the bus. And many do because they don't want to be stressed out by the traffic. Many do because they can't afford the gas in a car. Some do because they just like riding the bus, but they've chosen to be a non-driver. And so non-drivers need to be considered. And our elected officials, the ones who make, who run the money in our different communities, need to understand about non-drivers. And so this is a whole awareness week. And so that's basically kind of what it is about non-driving. We got this started 4 years ago. Anna Zivart started this through Disability Rights of Washington in 2021. It went national in, I believe it was 2023. And our CEO, I'm proud to say, has endorsed it every year since she's been here for Skagit Transit. Yay, yay, yay. And I just wrote her this year and asked her if she could do the same thing again for this year. So we're kicking it off a little earlier than we usually do. I got information and I signed up. People can actually sign up as a community member to be in the loop with what's going on with the week and the plans and what's going on, what everybody are doing. This kind of a thing. It's a real easy thing to do, to sign up. I can send it out in emails again. But that's basically it. Week without driving. Any questions? Okay. All right. So if there aren't any other questions about that, I'm very happy to report on HB 1418. As of yesterday, the governor signed it into law. So now,
Yay.
yeah, I know. I got so excited I could hardly type the email. And so you got all these police call, revolving lights, party poppers, all this stuff. That was me going, yay. But what is being looked for by Disability Rights of Washington is a statement like how you feel about this law passing, what it really means to you as a rider, as a Skagitonian, what it's going to mean to us to have this pass. And again, just a real brief thing, it is going to allow boards now to add 2 additional rider members, and that one can be ridership, like myself. Another would be from a community agency whose clientele are ridership. So these are who could be on the board. So these are going to be discussions that are going to be taking place, I'm sure, like with us, in Skagit Transit, and also, as individuals, we can talk to our our people that are on the board, talking to them, just letting them know about it. And in whatever, happens with Skagit Transit and the board is going to be between Skagit Transit and the board. But that'll be something that I would discuss with Malia, and she could take it to Crystal, and so on and so on. But, I think this is a great thing. And intercity transit, it works wonderfully for them. They've been doing it for years. And the community buys into it. It's exciting. So there you have it.
Thank you.
Where is intercity transit?
Down on Olympia, Thurston County.
Perfect. Thank you.
Lacey, Olympia, Tumwater, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that before moving on? Okay, next up, we've got Cheryl and Malia with the staff report. So we'll let you two take it away.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Clearly.
Beautifully.
That's nice.
Thank you very much for your patience with the audio. We thought we had it figured out this week, but clearly we don't. So hopefully next month we'll have some new microphones, but I appreciate the patience from everyone online. I know how frustrating it is. Thank you to everyone who is attending, both in person and virtual. It's great to connect with everyone. I have quite a few updates today, so I'm going to try to run through them rather quickly, but please feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions. Just a quick ridership update. Fixed route ridership for last month was recorded at 42,367, which is a 4.5% increase from last year. Still trending upwards, but not exactly where we want it to be. So we continue to look for ways to grow ridership through marketing efforts, and hopefully the LRTP will impact those numbers. Demand response ridership for paratransit is recorded at 6,900 rides last month, which is a 17% increase from last year. So we continue to see ridership grow on our paratransit network, which is great to see. We're meeting needs that we weren't meeting last year. So looking forward to continuing to grow that program as we expand our service area. A quick update on the Guimas Island service pilot. This service is set to begin when the vessel returns to service, which is currently estimated to be the 26th of this month. It's been pushed out a couple of weeks. In our conversations with residents at Guimas Island and county officials, we've determined that we will continue to implement a flex route, which is more of an on-demand type of route where they're able to call in. We can deviate to the roads that our vehicles can appropriately service. The reason for this flex route is just to provide greater opportunities for folks out there and to see the ridership. The board has approved a 6-month pilot of this service. So at which point we'll evaluate the ridership numbers and see whether or not we continue to provide service out there. Although we have good reason to believe with the implementation of demand response on Fidalgo Island, that will provide a pretty important link for folks who live on Guimas. Now we'll be able to travel on the bus to the ferry as a walk-on passenger and then connect to microtransit once they get to Fidalgo Island, which will hopefully reduce the number of vehicles on the ferry and reduce congestion, which is an item in support of the county's emergency preparedness and planning to reduce some of the need for vehicle spots on the ferry. We will be approving those marketing materials here in the next few days. We've sent those off to the county for review. As soon as those have been approved by the county, they'll be on our website, the county's website. And then we have a few different places that we'll be publishing those materials. So we'll certainly pass those along via email to our CAC members before we publish, in case you folks have any recommendations or last minute changes that you would like to suggest. So anticipate a response or an update from me by the end of this week on those materials. Just one last item on that. I apologize. There will be the same fare collected on that route as is currently collected on all of our other fixed routes. So as we've been providing kind of the emergency transportation while the ferry has been in haul out, that's donation only. We are moving to the structured fixed route rates across the rest of our network.
It's still.
So sorry.
No,
I appreciate it. That's good. So yeah, we will be implementing the flex route that will run for 6 months. We'll be charging the same rate on that route that we do on our other networks. Right now, we're doing donation only, which has been working really well, but moving to charging folks to utilize that service for Guimas Island. Yes. And then microtransit is set to begin in January, which will be on the Anacortes side.
Okay, so for Guimas, can you get a ride to the trailheads?
Yes.
Really?
I'm trying to think though of where our safest drop-off spot is. I can't recall off the top of my head, but that's certainly information I could follow up with you on if you'd like. Okay, great. Okay. All righty.
That's one of the main reasons I think.
We had a question for folks online about transportation to the trailhead on Guimas. So that's something that I will be following up with you all on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Moving to our next item, I had a really productive conversation with Judy, Irene, and BJ last month regarding our customer service protocol. And they just had some questions surrounding how we collect customer service feedback, how we record that, and then how we respond to it. So I was able to give a little bit of a walkthrough on when folks call into our customer service desk or send an email. We use this really neat software called Track It. And when that question or concern comes in, our customer service officer is able to designate that concern to the appropriate department, set a timeline for follow-up, and then we're able to kind of track our on-time performance, shall you, for getting back to customer questions and concerns. And so I mentioned that last month in our meeting that I would provide an update on what that system procedure looks like. And so if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
What's the name of the software again? This is Manette.
Track It.
Track It.
Yes, that's correct. Just a brief bullet point. It's come to my attention that this group would really like to be more active in CAC activities. And so we've been doing an internal audit of some of the ways that we think that could look. And I don't have an update for you yet, but it's my hope next month that we could sit down and discuss that together. Some of the things that I think this team could be really constructive on is with the LRTP changes coming into effect in January, potentially having a sponsorship where, someone has been assigned each route and gets to spend some time doing targeted outreach for that specific route to inform some of the marketing materials or changes that we need to make sure that we're meeting our key performance measures for the LRTP. So just something to be thinking about if you have thoughts or suggestions on things that you would like to be involved in or think that the CAC could be impacting, that would be really great to hear. Feel free to send that to Judy, and Judy has been collecting those responses and sending them my way. And I just, thank Irene and BJ for their work on the survey that they did last month to collect feedback. That was very valuable information. And I thank each of you for participating in that survey.
And then if I may, I'd just like to add one thing here to everybody that did, that responded to Irene's calls and answered questions. Malia is really great at building a platform where members are seen, and I'm saying seen in quotes, like, your concerns, what you want to do, how you want to be involved are being recognized, they're being dealt with, they're being handled, and further discussions, like Malia said, are taking place. But you all are being seen, with the things. This wasn't something Irene did. We're saying, okay, that was a nice thing, moving on. There's definitely going to be growth coming out of that question session, that Irene had with each one of you. So thank you all for doing that. And a really brief thank you to Manette. She did some phone calling for me, and it had to do with the HB 1418. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Manette. Thank you so much for just letting me call and say, hey, Manette, get on your phone. So thank you for that, Manette. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much for saying so.
Thank you, Judy.
I was a receptionist, so it doesn't scare me.
Yeah, we need to put this girl to work, receptioning. All right. And now the request for bus info window.
Yeah, so last month we had two concerns brought up, both the window tint and the HVAC system that Valerie mentioned just a few minutes ago. Mm-hmm. This has been something that our fleet team has addressed. They feel like they've shared their responses as to why the windows can't open on the ADX, and they asked me to reiterate that this is not only a safety concern, but it is also an issue with our HVAC system. We needed to improve the air quality on our vehicles, and we put in a system to recycle and recirculate the air on the vehicle. And so by allowing the windows to be open, that negates the feature of the HVAC system. With the HVAC system in place, we add like a 20% clean air input into the vehicle, which is overall in support of the health of passengers on the vehicle. I realize how disappointing that is, but we do feel like this is the safest thing we can be doing for our riders, especially when operating diesel coaches. So I know that that's not the answer you want to hear, Valerie, but that is that is the direction that our agency has gone in terms of fleet maintenance and safety.
You know, they really ought to
I
test that
appreciate-
on a dog accident.
Sorry,
See
Judy,
how-
could
see
you
if that
repeat
was-
yourself?
Sure, they need to, but they need to test that on a dog accident to make sure it recycles all the smell out.
Well, I will say that the
Yeah.
HVAC system does support in those types of instances. That's the role of the HVAC system is
Yeah.
to help purify that air. But you know, WTA has different policies for their coaches than we do, and so I would reiterate our pet policy. And should that happen, I know that our operators are pretty swift to address any concerns with animals and animal cleanliness on vehicles.
I appreciate the information. And I'm wondering, of course, I've been speaking up about the AVX. Skagit Transit has many coaches on many routes that have windows that used to open and locked. And my understanding is that many years ago, the head of maintenance was saying that they were getting complaints about diesel fumes inside the bus, and so they decided the safest thing to do was to lock the windows. It's still confusing to me that this is a problem with Skagit Transit, but not with Whatcom Transit.
I will say,
Go ahead.
sorry, Valerie.
Go ahead.
I will say that Whatcom Transit operates a pretty different fleet than we do. Especially their zero emission fleet. They use hybrid vehicles and battery electric vehicles, which have very little or non-existent carbon emissions.
Right.
And so there is a difference
Right.
there in terms of fuel type. Whereas Skagit Transit has the intention to switch to zero emission vehicles, it's just not what we're currently doing. And so we've identified the need to have those HVAC systems on board to mitigate some of the concerns surrounding air quality.
Good. Thank you for mentioning that, because that makes a huge difference. If you're not burning diesel, you don't have diesel fuels. Or
Yes.
diesel fumes. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely. All right, the last thing I have on my agenda before I switch over to Cheryl is the LRTP public comment period closes tomorrow. I want to thank all of you for engaging in that survey and providing feedback. I have reviewed all of the feedback we've currently received, and there's a lot of changes that will be made to the LRTP draft recommendations. I'll be spending the next 2 months cleaning up those routes and those materials, and then we'll go before the board for ultimate approval, at which point we'll begin the process of creating marketing materials, rider guides, schedules, and all of that. I just want to note something in reference to Joe. I identified that we weren't receiving much feedback in Cedro-Woolley, and that was a concern because Cedro-Woolley is a community that's most affected by the recommended changes. And so we've done specific targeted research and outreach to determine, how we're missing the mark there. And I just want to say thank you to Cheryl. She was out in Cedro-Woolley at the library all day yesterday, getting feedback and collecting more responses. And so I think we have a pretty good system in place. We've received some very detailed and thorough responses that will definitely change the LRTP recommended routes to be more representative of what our community has asked for. So I look forward to giving you an update when I can.
Sounds good. I also let you know a couple of things very quickly. First thing is Cedar-Woolley Chamber of Commerce sounded the alarm, and as well as I on social media, and got more comments in. The second thing is thank you, Cheryl. Wish I knew you were at the library yesterday and would have put on a mask and said hi. But I'm really concerned about the schedules, and I appreciate the routes being fixed, and I'll leave it at that because we got a long meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Joe.
Right,
All right, so Cheryl, are you next up
I think
on the Job Corps site visit?
got a question.
Oh, okay, pardon me. Who has the question? Did we lose contact?
I don't know, but this is Manette, and I wish I'd known she was over there yesterday too. She sent me a-
Okay.
One moment, please. I'll repeat the question as I can. Just one second. I apologize.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we lost the Skagit Transit for a minute.
Uh-oh.
I think they're trying to get us reconnected.
Very, very broad question. I mean, basically,
There we go.
I think the LRTP. So of course, that's a real tough one to answer because the LRTP is 200 plus pages. So what I did was I just focused on a couple of things, the 90X and the Route 207, which is what I'm most familiar with. So that's what my comments consist of in there. But I do encourage everyone to go in before tomorrow and finish it because it is, it's quick and easy.
Thank you very much. The comment was surrounding the LRTP survey specifically, and it's rather broad. There's only really one question. There's a few demographic questions that are optional. But we would like to reiterate, we kept it that way on purpose, hoping that anyone who had concerns that weren't addressed in the LRTP was able to note those in their feedback, because we definitely feel like we didn't get as much interaction during the public comment period as we had hoped, which is why we extended it a second time and then a third time. So we haven't received many responses, but the ones we have been greatly appreciated and greatly impactful, honestly. So thank you very much for taking the time to do that.
Yeah, I think it's actually quite, it's actually better than just keep the option.
Okay. And
Irene
like
was just saying she likes how the survey is a broad one.
Yeah. And for anybody who hasn't taken the survey, please do so by the end of the day tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow
survey
is
is-
the deadline for that.
All right.
The
Um,
survey is available.
Say the question
Where?
again.
This is Manette.
Where is the survey available?
On the Skagit Transit website, and if you go to the website and you put in LRTP, it will take you to the page. LRTP stands for Long Range Transit Plan.
Got it.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
glad to mail it out to everybody tonight again, too.
Thanks, Judy.
Yep.
So, the upcoming experience in Cedar Woolley, we're still working on determining a date. We were invited on the 10th, which is the same day as our CAC meeting, and we need to have our meeting. So they're trying to find another date for that, and I'll keep you posted on what the options are as they come to me.
Okay.
And then on events, we did the Healthy Kids Day event, and that's at the YMCA, that's of Skagit Valley. It's a very focused event on youth, and I think we talked to several hundred kids that day. It's a great time to talk about youth ride free and making youth and families aware of that being available to them. We were also at Skagit Legal Aid's Legal Day and Resource Day. And this is an event where resource agencies like ourselves are present along with attorneys that are here in Skagit County. And the attorneys make themselves available at no cost to anyone that comes to the event that day. And so it serves a really important service to the community, for sure.
Okay.
Go ahead. Did someone have a question? Okay. Then we also were at Career Exploration Day at La Conner High School. And I think I talked to 160 students. Many of them are thinking about what they want to do when they get done with their current work. So yeah, just to help them kind of understand the kind of work that we do at Transit, and at the same time made them aware of that they can take transit for free. And a lot of them didn't know it. So that was great to have that too. And then you just heard that I was at the library at Cedar Woolley, and I talked to patrons there about the long range transit plan, helped folks fill out surveys, and collected their thoughts in the Cedar Woolley and East County regions. So that's kind of a wrap up on events.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for
You've been
reporting
busy.
on those. Yep, any questions for Cheryl? Okay, hearing none, now we are actually coming to our roundtable session. And we've got more time usually than is allotted to roundtable, which is a good thing because this is our time where members can bring up new things, new questions, new information. So let's open it up. Do we have somebody who can monitor the hand raising on virtual, and someone who can get the attention of people in the room?
Want to bring something up about the bus signs?
Bus signs.
Bus signs.
Yeah, Dave wants to talk about bus signs.
Okay. Okay, you got the floor, Dave.
I took a picture of Cheryl, or what's her name? I forgot her name.
Malia.
Anyway, I'll show them the picture. If you're short, you cannot read like 204 sign. There's 205, 204, they're stacked on each other. If you're short, you cannot read them.
Dave was talking about if you're height challenged, that was some of the places that our bus stop signs are placed. If that bus stop sign has numerous routes listed on it at the station, it can be hard to make out which number it is.
Also, the gal in the wheelchair could not read it at all. So.
Yeah, it's great feedback. So he has a picture of it. He's going to share that picture with us so we can follow up on that.
Good job. Very good. Yeah, I'm vertically challenged anyway. So I understand vertical challenge thing, but yeah, like you said, for people in wheelchairs, that could be an issue for sure. Any other concerns from anyone else during this roundtable session?
Well, I'd like to clarify, are we getting a new bus ridership book out this month? And thank you, Cheryl, please let me know when you're going to be at the library again. I'd like to have stopped by.
Yeah, I would too.
So are we going to get a new bus rider book this month?
You mean a bus rider schedule?
Yes.
Yeah, are we having schedule changes this month?
Hey, Judy, I can jump in on that. We implemented schedule changes on May 5th, and those rider materials have been updated on our website. I would be happy to put one in the mail. I couldn't see who it was who had asked for one. Monette?
Monette.
Yes.
Monette, if you send me an email with the best mailing address, I'd be happy to put one in the mail to you.
Okay, great. What's your email address?
I will have Cheryl connect us. It's a little bit hard to spell out my last name.
Okay. Okay, great.
And then I have a question regarding this too, which has come up in other prior times when schedule changes have happened. Has the print already gone out on the fixed routes? I mean, did it go out on the fixed routes before the changes took place?
I'm sorry, Judy, can you repeat your question?
Sure. Okay, so when the route changes took place, one of the problems when they did this last time was that the printed material did not get out onto the buses, the routes themselves in time. So was this done ahead of time this time?
It was, however, changes were made up until the last minute. So Rogelio has done some excellent work to get those updates corrected. And so we have updated route guides, rider guides arriving this week. So I do apologize, but the materials on the website were published well in advance, and those are the correct
Okay.
ones. But in terms of physical copies, we had to pull back the ones that were previously printed. So certainly
Ah.
something that we're addressing so that it does not happen again.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Any other questions from anybody?
We have a question in the audience here, Judy. I'll repeat it as soon as I hear.
Okay.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah, I'll repeat it once he's finished with this question.
Okay.
Sorry, folks.
That people might be interested in, or anything that Skagit Transit is thinking about in terms of like potentially connecting to the expansion of sound transit. You know, if there could be like, you know, possibility of a bus that would go down to the light rail. I personally selfishly have a strong desire to be able to get from Anacortes to the airport without having to drive.
So our guest Spencer, Spencer, right?
Yeah.
Had just a question surrounding if we had any early insight into the feedback from the LRTP surrounding if folks were asking for additional service or routes that would facilitate a connection from Anacortes to either the light rail and or the airport. So to speak briefly on that, we haven't received much feedback, but I did have a few folks ask about sound transit specifically and being able to connect. Just based on how public benefit transportation areas work, that is Community Transit's region. So we are not allowed legally to provide service in there unless there's some type of interlocal agreement, but we are working on that. To see about facilitating a transfer, it would likely be either at Everett Station or somewhere in northern Snohomish County, where we would connect folks. So more to come. It's definitely something we've received a couple inquiries on, and we're always looking for ways to get folks to where they need to go, which obviously the airport is a big one. And just facilitating better transfers to existing public transportation is definitely a goal outlined by WashDOT as well. So one more question in the audience. I'll repeat it as soon as I hear.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
But, and that was that was the big comment that I made in the LRT survey. Okay. Was related to the 90X.
Irene was just sharing that she currently rides our services to connect down to Seattle and would be willing to share some of her insight to those routes with Spencer, and then provided comment into the LRTP survey, which is much appreciated. It's
wonderful.
For years before I was working in this position, I worked down in Lewis County. And so I would commute as often as I could via Amtrak so that I could work while on the train. And I live out in, you know, the eastern part, western part of the county. And so commuting on the bus to Skagit Station was near impossible, especially when you're returning on a late train. So I share those concerns. It's definitely something we're looking at, expanding service, making sure we're connecting with Amtrak when at all possible, and also facilitating transfers to the light rail. So
including holding that train for bus.
I feel you. I feel you. It's on our radar for sure.
5 years since before
Well, hopefully
Right.
not
So you-
for not much longer.
But I think we're getting closer to, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just put a chat in an e-reader.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Alrighty, so I think we're ending oh, yes, Joe?
Yeah, I wanted to wait till last with the committee talk because I'm not a member, but a few
Okay.
a
Well,
few
okay, yeah, this actually isn't the time, like the public comment was, good for you to have the public comment, but this is kind of the members' time right now in the roundtable. So I do appreciate that though, and I respect what you have to say, but we need to keep it as is. Let me ask, we haven't heard from Robin or Ray or Louise. Do you guys have anything you need to bring up in this last little bit?
Ray needs to do the survey still.
Ray needs to do the survey still.
Okay, get after it. Anything else? All right. And Chris, did you have any comments? Oh, and Manette?
Just a minute, I'm glad to know that light rail and sound transit are on the radar. Ever since community, so I have been dreaming of some kind of cooperative where community transit could come to Skagit Transit, and I could take community transit to see my family and.
Okay. And then, yeah, did Chris, Robin, Louise, do y'all have anything you need to say the last couple of minutes?
Robin says she doesn't have anything at the moment.
Okay, all right. Very good. Well, I've actually got 5:29 and 6 seconds, but we're close enough to adjournment time. Would somebody like to move the meeting be adjourned?
I approve it.
Dave.
I second, this is Valerie.
Okay, Dave and Valerie, all right. It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn. And then I'm going to make a really quick comment after we do this. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Hey.
Okay, meeting is adjourned, and let me quickly say that there are going to be some times we talked about, having meetings that might go over a few minutes. If we really have some things that need to discuss, we kind of brought this up a couple of years ago or so, and you guys have been great about it. Sometimes if people have to leave early, it's understandable, but there may be some times that we might have to meet till as late as 5:45. Hopefully not.
Thank you all for your time today and for joining our conversation. It's greatly appreciated. We look forward to
Thank you, Melina.
chatting next month.
Thank you too.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.